So this fan is turning out to be a bit of a nightmare. This is definitely not a how to fit a Maxx Air Fan video.
Perfect.
I'm Cheska, this is Ben, and this is our little hitchhiker River. We've spent the last year travelling Europe in our self-built sprinter van Sophia, but new horizons are calling. In 2021, we'll be driving all the way to Cape Town, South Africa. Before we go, we're making some upgrades to Sophia to get her ready for those African roads. Subscribe and join us for the ride. Welcome back to yet another week on the van build, and today we are not at the unit, and that is because we are fitting our fan this week and we don't want to be driving when we've cut the hole for it and it's all set in place. So we're going to be back at home this week, which is quite nice, and we're going to hopefully get our Maxx Air Fan fitted, which is very, very exciting because our old fan was just horrific, and I will tell you more about that in a bit.
Right, so today we're going to try and make a start on removing this awful Fiamma fan. The only problem I have is I built this frame and I nailed it in on the sides, not into the van, the frame into each other, and then Sikaflexed it down really well. I need to try and prise this off. How I'm going to do that, I do not know.
What have you done to our fan board?
So yesterday I was taking off the framing for the old fan so that we can cut here now for the new fan. If I just take this side off, then the jigsaw should miss this and it'll cut into here. Should. Oh wow, well that was no effort at all, the hell's that? Bloody hell. Now I need to go and scrape all the adhesive and everything off the top.
Do you remember when we were doing the closed cell insulation video and I said that Ben isn't a big fan of jobs that require quite a little bit of patience and a bit slow and a bit methodical? I think this is one of them. There we go, new hole cut.
Hole cut.
Fortunately, we don't have a little handheld hoover for the roof, so we're going to improvise. Ready?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh.
No?
Yeah. Just sealing the edges where we've cut with anti-rust paint. Just got some Hamrite white metal paint. Come on!
I know, but this will dry out really quickly if I don't put this in. Lunchtime. Let that dry for an hour or two, and then we'll come back and do the mastic around the top.
So I just want to briefly touch on our old fan and why we're changing it in the first place. This is the original fan we had. It's the Fiamma Turbo Vent in 28, and it is a piece of crap. We didn't really do any research on fans and we just kind of got one of the cheaper ones. It has two settings, which draws in air, blows it out, but it goes about a million miles an hour. It's very, very loud. Doesn't work when it's raining, which is kind of when you need it the most. And yeah, it broke as well towards the end. If you remember, the fan blades just fell off. So, and it's really tiny, so it doesn't really let in a huge amount of light. So what most people rightly use is this beast of a fan, which is the Maxx Air Fan. Has multiple different settings. You can have it on quite quiet, so you can have it on at night, you can use it when it rains. It's just a much better piece of kit, much more recommended than the Fiamma fan. And yeah, we've gone for the clear top so that it lets in light as well. It's a little bit bigger, so it should let in even more light. And yeah, ventilation is gonna be so important for the Africa trip, so we just knew we needed to upgrade from that piddly little Fiamma thing. So yeah, this is gonna be what's going in the roof.
Probably would help if I explain what I was doing. So, we've got this rib here, which the flange sits on. So I need to build the rest of the frame up, or rest this up to the same height as that, so that the flange then will sit nicely on, and then it'll obviously be watertight with this mastic strip. Now, the mastic strip I've got is too wide, so I need to cut it in half down the middle. And then, yeah, we'll build it up around the sides. Hit a little bit of a snag. I need to drill here, but I can't because our roof bar's in the way, so I need to loosen this and get it off.
Anything?
Those holes still like that?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No. So this fan is turning out to be a bit of a nightmare. This is definitely not a how to fit a Maxx Air Fan video. There's these four, these should line up with the flange on the inside, and one of them just will not line up, and we need to screw them all in, otherwise it's going to leak through there. Yeah, so it lines up with these, and this back one just will not line up.
I need to put these in, otherwise I'm never gonna...
We are absolutely frozen to the bone. Ben probably more so than me.
Cold.
Never want to see another Maxx fan again. I'm glad we're not doing two.
Do you know what, right? That was not as easy as everybody makes out.
I don't know whether we probably did something wrong at some point, but it's in now. I think as well because your hands are so cold they don't work properly. There is Sikaflex on everything.
So what we're going to do is we're going to let that cure for an hour and then put another bead of Sikaflex around. I say bead, it's literally like a river of Sikaflex.
But anyway, it's done, but yeah.
It's done, so now I'm going to, I'm cold to the bone, so I'm going to go and have a shower.
Anyway, enough moaning. Okay, so we have a Maxx Air Fan fitted, which is awesome, but I'm thinking we should rename Sophia the Leaky Cauldron, because for the past, day? We've had quite a bit of rain and there's definitely a leak.
We have a leaky Maxx Air Fan, don't we?
We have a leaky Maxx Air Fan.
It looks like it's coming through where one of the screws has gone through, so there must be a hole in the Sikaflex where the water, there's only a slight drip that's coming through, and we've had torrential rain, haven't we? It's only a slight drip. So, first thing today is to get back up on the roof, whack a load of Sikaflex around and see how that...
We've spoken to a few people who've had Maxx Air Fans, and the story goes pretty much the same, which is we fitted the fan, looked really good, started leaking, just basically vomited a load of Sikaflex over the top of it, and it seemed to work. And then we're just going to be following that same storyline today. But it should be fine, we should be able to get it sorted. But we're heading back to the unit today. Weather's looking good, it's a bit of blue sky. We have 3 things to do in the morning before we can get cracking with anything else. One of them is to get our little heater corner set up with River's bed and the chair, like the little fireplace. Get the little barricade set up for River so that we just don't have to worry about it so much. And get the kettle on, which is what I'm doing now. Probably the most important thing.
We're gonna dance, dance, dance.
Shall we tell them, like, kind of what we do on the walls?
Yes, so as you know, our plan was to apply all the walls that are going to be behind the overhead cupboards, the full-length cupboard, the kitchen, behind the chairs and everything. But we've changed our minds and we decided we're going to apply the entire sides of the van.
We were planning originally on cladding, and we've been torn between PVC cladding, which a few people use because it's really lightweight. And
it looks really good,
wooden cladding. But we've seen something else that we're going to do instead, and but it's probably not going to be for the next couple of weeks. So we'll show you when we've kind of got everything ready for that. But it does start with applying the whole walls.
Yeah.
How's it looking?
I think where this outside screw is, where the flange is, there's a gap in the silicone. So the silicone is there, but there's a slight gap just behind it, so it's flapped up a bit. I think that's where it's run in and dripped down, because it's only a small drip we've got in there, so it's not piling loads in. That's the only place I can see it so far. But I'm just going to whack a load of silicone on the join a bit better. We should be good.
Okay, cool. So yeah, as you can probably see, this screw has still got some water on it. This is where the water's coming in, but it is coming in nowhere else. On the fan, no other part of it around here is wet. There's no moisture there. It's literally just here. So hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult to solve and to sort out.
I've just whacked a massive load of Sikaflex again around the fan, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that should be enough. But what I'll do is I'll give it 2-3 hours. I'll give it 2-3 hours, let it cure, then put some more on just so we're doubly sure. If it still leaks, then
might put some cement on it, you know.
We might just have a sunroof. Just cut a big hole, put a pop-up in. No. If it still leaks, we've ordered some flashing, some butane flashing, which we could put over the joints as well. But that's our last resort. We don't really want to do it because it's a nightmare to get off. But if we have to, we have to. But now, I don't know what we're going to do. What are we doing? Now what?
Okay, so because we decided to ply line the walls now rather than clad them, we've now got a fresh set of issues, which is how to attach the ply with as few joins as possible. Because obviously we don't want there to be loads of joins showing, but the van isn't level and it curves up and it also gets narrower towards the back, so it's going to be really difficult to cut one massive sheet of ply that's going to fit perfectly. So yeah, we're just trying to tackle how fewer joins can we fit this ply in.
It's a slight gap, but when we screw it in, it'll fill it that. Let me just mark so that is there, that is there, there.
That looks amazing! Well done. So I need a piece of
that. Okay, so perfect.
Well done, babe. That looks so good. Oh my god! Wow. It is looking so good. So yeah, this piece is just one big piece that we've then, the royal we. I'm very proud of you. Well done. Some of you have already noticed.
Some eagle-eyed viewers have noticed, yeah.
That one, the van has been lifted, and two, we have some new tyres. obviously Sophia isn't a 4x4 van, and we're going to be encountering some pretty rough roads when we go to Africa. After talking on a lot of like different Facebook groups and people who have already done it, their biggest like bit of advice was get your van lifted and get some really good tyres, because most 4x4s, that's the most important part of the
Yeah,
the 4x4
even
kit.
4x4s get stuck in Africa.
And they were
So-
saying like if you've got good clearance and good tyres, you can pretty much go wherever you want. So
yeah, well,
within reason.
within reason for us at least, yeah.
So getting a lift kit for Sophia and getting some big beefy tyres, that was top of our list really for this next trip.
Yeah, so we've had the lift kit fitted, which has increased our clearance by 50mm. We have had the Goodrich KO 245 75 16s fitted, which is perfect, which gives us that extra bit of clearance. So
now Sophia, we've already noticed such a big difference in climbing into the van, and I think we're going to have like a little step or something to get out of the living area.
River was struggling to jump in.
It's so much higher. But it does mean, that she is much more capable on some rough roads, much less likely to get stuck, and just basically looks a bit meaner as well. Yeah. One thing that we did want to mention is that a few people do talk about the all-terrain tyres as reducing your MPG. But
it's
from our research, because we looked quite a lot into this, because obviously we're going to be doing a lot of miles.
Do you know, it is marginal. It's
something like 3%, and that's in like test conditions. So
exactly, we've had them on for 2 weeks and I've not noticed any difference in fuel consumption. So
if you are thinking about it, I wouldn't let that put you off.
Yeah.
It's negligible, Another thing to bear in mind with the BF Goodriches is that they're too big to fit under your spare wheel carriage.
Yes.
Which we didn't realise until the tyre fitter told us, which makes sense as to why a lot of people have their spare tyre mounted on their rear doors, which is something we're now going to have to do.
This is the size of it. Oh, sorry, River, scared you a little bit. This is the size of the tyre. This does not fit in our spare wheel carrier, does it? So.
No. If anybody has done this with their tyres and fitted it to the back of the van, please get in touch with us. We'd love to know, like, if there's anything you recommend or any advice you have.
Yeah. We've looked online for different wheel carriers to go onto the back door, but there's so many.
We'd love to hear from people that have already done it. Because we never even thought we'd have to do it until we got these fitted. So
on that note, I think we're going to leave the video here for this week. It's been a wet, miserable week, lots of leaks, but the inside is lined, the inside's plied, the ceiling fan is Sikaflex to hell, so hopefully we've got rain coming so we can test that again. If not, more's going on.
We'll see you next week for some more van building.
See you later.
Bye. Is that recording?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Get in there. Rich.
Oh, well.
That's a dog in a
Hello. Here, so you can come in.